And that is it. That is the only thing that I've done. And that's the result of it, man. Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to the video. So, as y'all see, man, I'm looking quite nutty, right? But anyway, somebody commented on I'll pop the post up. He's like, man, you never look this big, man. You taking any secret sauce? You taking the secret sauce? So, no, answering that. But basically, like I told him, but the point of the video, man, is basically how I've been. So I've been gaining strength on my legs the past like few months out of nowhere. Like, so basically, my strength was up here, right? Been cutting. Here's my strength dropping the whole time. I believe this is on the 65th week of the cut. So I mean, just literally just dropping strength as I've been losing body weight as well. I mean, I'm cut, you know, from like 187. So that's very normal to lose when I'm losing, you know, 40 pounds or whatever, right? It's very normal that you're gonna lose strength as well. Like, naturally, you're gonna lose some muscle too. So majority of that's fat. I did all I possibly can. I'm doing all I possibly can to make that all fat, but there's going to be some muscle loss too, and the strength loss is an indicator of that as well. And just being a lot smaller, you're not going to be as strong as you can be when you're a lot bigger as well. Essentially, like a lot of times too, the more body fat you have on you, the stronger you're going to be as well. But basically, the one thing I've changed, so I started randomly kind of, you know, gaining some strength back in my legs. Like I said, out of nowhere, the whole time cutting 65 weeks, bam, 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 bam. Keep in mind, there's 52 weeks in the year, my people. So, been extremely long cut. I've been experimenting with doing a lot slower cut this time. I've done way faster cuts in the past and lost like this much weight in like less than half the time, essentially. Just experiment with the slower cut. But the one thing, so I have been gaining strength out of nowhere on my legs for a few months. Still was losing, and my theory on the leg thing was essentially, and I've noticed that when I was bulking with squats too, my strength on my deadlifts kept going up. My squat strength didn't really go up a whole lot, and I think that's because obviously as I'm gaining weight, you know, when you do a squat, you're having to squat your whole body weight up essentially. So it's like I'm adding weight technically to my squat by just putting on weight. So I think that's why the squat didn't really progress a whole lot, or not as much as like the deadlift or every other lift. And I think that maybe why I'm able to gain strength on the squats, because like I'm losing overall body weight, but like I'm still keeping good muscle size and strength in my legs, so I'm able to actually gain reps essentially, which is absolutely awesome. But like the past month or so, man, out of nowhere, I've been gaining strength on my like upper body movements, which is nuts. Like saying, still eating, you know, the same amount of calories, 2100 calories, like still in a deficit, still fat loss, have not done a refeed, done none of that. One thing I've changed, literally one thing. So like I'm always constantly just researching, trying to improve my diet in every way, shape or form, improve my programs, just trying to learn all I possibly can, even if it's that 0.0001% I learn. I want to find that, I want to search that, I want to apply that, not only to myself, but it would help my clients as well, right? So fill out the first application in a link in the bio as well for a free consultation call as well. But basically, the one thing I've changed, so I stumbled across a Stan Efforting video, and he was talking about the vertical diet and all this kind of stuff. That's his diet, but he got into the point of sodium. I think it was actually a separate video. I thought what he said, the video better than steroids or something like this, I don't know, but I watched that video and I kind of like, okay, here's some interesting stuff. I kind of like the same thing. I can definitely learn from this guy. So I started looking into him more. And I came across a salt video from him. And that's one thing he's really big on, is sodium, salt, right? And that's something I've basically never really intaken at all. Anyway, he was like citing the stuff from whatever, I don't know if it's the FDA or whatever, blah, 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 recommends 3 to 6 grams of salt a day essentially. I was like, 3 to 6 grams. So I was like, let me see what I'm eating. So, and he was saying basically, like, if you're eating whole foods, you're going to definitely need to be like salting your foods. If you're somebody who don't eat processed foods and you're always eating clean whole foods, I'm like, well, that's what I do. I don't eat processed foods. I'm cooking all the time. Like I'm eating just whole foods, natural foods every meal. So I was like, well, damn, my sodium's probably low then. So I went and checked that. You know, I'm tracking everything in my fitness pal each day. So I was, man. I'm only getting like 1,000, 1,100, sometimes maybe 1,200. Just depends. So you can say like around 1,100 averaging around somewhere like that of milligrams of sodium a day. So that's just coming from all my food, right? Which is well below. So that's only, you know, 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. So you can just say 1 gram, 1.1 gram. And he's saying at least, you know, you want to be in that 3 to 6 gram range. And now one thing I've always done during like the summertime is when I sweat a lot extra, I'll put back in extra sodium, because the majority of your sweat is actual sodium. So that's what you need to replenish mostly, is sodium from your sweat. And I made a whole video on blood pressure, that kind of ties back into that kind of stuff too. But basically, and he was saying potassium, you need 4,700 milligrams each day, because those kind of balance each other out. Well, I'm getting the potassium, again, eating a bunch of fruits and everything, even some, you know, vegetable stuff. I'm eating super healthy. I'm getting the potassium, and I'm hitting that potassium limit, but my sodium limit was, you know, extremely low. Like I said, essentially 2 grams less than the bare minimum he's recommended. And he's pulling that number from somewhere else. I forget where he said he pulled that number from. I was like, huh, all right. I was like, well, let me start up. He recommends just salting to taste. He was like, basically, and I have noticed this, there's like a negative feedback loop instantly. Like if you put too much salt on something and go to eat it, you instantly know that's too much salt. So you can like knock salt off, whatever. But that's what he was saying. So just salt to taste. So salt your foods to your taste. So me being like I am, you know, I want to start, and I highly recommend everybody do this. You want to track and manage stuff to see how it actually affects you. So I started measuring my salt, essentially, okay? Using peat Himalayan sea salt, you know, at this time basically, but I rotate through salts, okay? It's a healthy salt, I'm going to use that salt. Basically, I just rotate through all the different ones just to have that variety there, and they all have a little bit different minerals in them, essentially. So I started tracking in my fitness pal. You can actually add in whatever salt, you know, you can scan the salt and, you know, add that in, so you can, you know, add in that sodium, right? So I basically just bumped it up. I didn't want to jump it all the way up, so I basically just been bumping it up about 1,000, you know, 11. So basically, I've a little bit over doubled it some days. So I'm up around about 2,200 milligrams now, which is like 2.2 grams. Some days it might be 2.4. But basically, you know, I'm slowly upping it. All right, the other slight variations in the slight variation of the different foods I'm eating. So let's just say it's at essentially 2,200 milligrams a day, which is 2.2 grams. So essentially, I went from, you know, 1.1 grams up to, you know, like 2.1 grams. Essentially, I doubled my sodium intake. And that is it. That is the only thing that I've done. And that's the result of it, man. So he was saying it's like a very good big thing for performance. Like I said, I've always done that during the summer, but I've never like monitored the sodium and like really tracked it and tried to like, okay, let me hit this certain amount each day. So what's really weird too is I haven't been getting up at night and peeing as much, because I'm eating so much. All my foods are like, I'm eating a ton of fruit, like fruit and stuff before near bed and all this kind of stuff. Like staying super hydrated throughout the day. So like when I wake up in the morning, bro, like I'm already peeing crystal clear. Like I'm so well hydrated, right? I really need to kind of back off of it. So I have to like constantly make myself like stop drinking water a good bit away from like bedtime. That way I really won't get up during the middle of the night. But what I've noticed is I haven't been getting up in the middle of the night and peeing near as much for whatever reason. I don't know if the sodium's like drawing up the water more. That's what I think he was saying, is like the sodium, like it makes you hold more water weight, but in the muscle essentially, so it can give you more fuller muscles. And I think, you know, that's I'm not sure 100% on the reasoning why it's causing me to gain more strength, but you know, we're all essentially big batteries, essentially sodium, you know, electricity charged, so that aspect of it makes sense. But that's what I wanted to share, man, because but now I will say this, and he recommends it too, and it's true, and I've seen it with, you know, so many of my clients, basically about all of them. Basically, if you're eating a normal like American type diet, you're eating a bunch of fast food, processed foods, you do not need more sodium. But again, track your sodium and see where you're at, because like one Pop-Tart, man, has a ton of, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm saying if you eat a couple Pop-Tarts, you eat some cereal, you're stopping at Burger King, dude, you got grams and grams and grams of sodium already. You actually need to probably cut back. Again, you want to be in that 3 to 6 gram range, he's saying. Again, I'm not even all the way up there yet, and I've got great benefits already from it. So what I'm going to keep doing is slowly upping it and keep seeing, because, you know, that's just like a point of diminishing returns with everything. But see what's the point that's too much for my body, or if I keep upping it again and I keep gaining more and more strength, or, you know, if I stay here, will the strength continue? Say if I stay at, you know, 2.1 grams, the strength continue, or will I hit a wall, and then if I increase it, will I keep gaining strength again? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep experimenting like that. just see how my body keeps responding to it. But that's the only thing I've done, dude, which is, it's like blowing my mind. So I always look for these little nuggets. That's one thing I wasn't I didn't know about, essentially. That's just, I always eat super healthy. I didn't know, I mean, I always knew to replenish, like, so anytime I sweat, the more I sweat a day, I always replenish the sodium. I always knew I'm losing the sodium, but I've never tried to specifically hit a certain amount of sodium each day. So like I said, I'm even still technically below what he's recommending, 3 to 6, and again, he's pulling that number for somewhere else, he said, some kind of health guidelines. And it's even recommend, I forget how much he would even recommend so much around like before and after exercise too, and even during exercise too, especially if you're sweating a lot. But just get that a try. If you're not getting that 3 to 6 range grams of salt in each day, slowly up. Like I said, if you're somebody like me who eats extremely clean, extremely healthy all the time, whole foods, no processed foods, just bump it up 1,000 and see how your gym performance does. Now don't bump it up 1,000 and start eating more calories. Like don't change everything at once. Just change one thing at a time. And this is the only thing that I have changed, and that's the result. That's how I know that. I mean, the same, essentially the foods every single day. The only thing I've added in is excess sodium. No other new supplements or anything. It's just that. It. So that's how I can know, since I've isolated that one action, I'm getting this one new result, I can know exactly what it's coming from. So yeah, super excited to share this with y'all, because again, you know, it's helping me on my journey, and can definitely help you on yours. But also again, be mindful, don't just eat more sodium, more salt. Pink Himalayan sea salt is good, Celtic sea salt, the Redmond real salt, some good Mediterranean sea salt. There's a bunch of good quality healthy salts. Make sure there's no garbage like preservatives, and I forget, it's like some kind of anti-caking agents you can find. Just go to a healthy food store and get you a good salt there. I think like a Harris Teeter has some good salts. I haven't really checked Walmart. I normally just go to the healthy food store. But yeah, just make sure it's just whatever that salt is, but get you some good salt, rotate through. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it for the video. I just wanted to share what's actually been making me gain strength out of nowhere, man. Over a year cutting, just the whole time losing strength. All I do is add another 1,000 grams of salt in. Bam, my strength starts going up. How crazy is that? That's wild, and it's awesome. Again, I'm not even all the way up to the limit, so I'm going to keep experimenting with it, seeing how my body keeps responding. So again, if you're eating well above that, you know, you might want to knock that down, and then you might get some, you're probably going to get some health benefits, some improvements from that as well. So we're going to keep pushing it and find kind of what's too much, essentially. And then I'll probably make a whole other update video if I find, you know, what is too much for me. Everybody is different, so that's just kind of a guideline, which is a huge gap. 3 to 6 grams, that's a big freaking difference. That's 3 grams of difference, that's a big difference. So experiment with your body, see what worked best for you. Again, track first for a few days, see what you're normally eating at, how many milligrams. On, you know, my FitnessPal, you can just go to the nutrition tab and scroll down. It tells you your sodium, potassium, all that again. So again, he recommends 3 to 6 grams of salt each day, 4,700 milligrams or 4.7 grams of potassium each day. And again, don't, if you're eating like me around 1,000, don't just automatically bump up to 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 or 6,000. You know what I'm saying, milligrams. Just slowly increase it. You know, you can bump it up by 500 milligrams or go up 1 gram. Kind of like I did do a little bit at 500, then I slowly upped it to 1,000. So slowly add it in, or like I said, if you are eating at 8,000, drop it down to 7,000 or 7,500 and slowly drop it down and see how your body feels like. If you're eating that much, I say cutting out those processed foods, those garbage foods, all that garbage. And that's the thing, when you have those processed foods like that, fast food, no, that's garbage sodium. That's a low quality sodium source. Where a good healthy quality salt, like I said, trace minerals all in it, that's a healthy sodium source. So that's it for the video. Awesome thing to add in like that I found to give me more gain. So hopefully it can help y'all on that side as well. Follow on the journey. We are diced, we are sliced, my people, but we are not done. We're gonna keep on keeping on. We're gonna dial in the dialed in. You know what I'm saying? We're already dialed in, but we're gonna keep dialing. We're gonna dial it in even more, man. Alright, so that's it for the video. Stay happy, stay healthy. Gonna make y'all some gains. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace out.